Hello, I'm Dr. Kill, aka Dr. Krill, King of the Shellfish, and with me here is...
Liquidypoo.
And today we're going to finish off the cycle that we've been on for last few episodes, quite a few episodes. Finish that up, and then we'll start a new cycle, and that cycle is basically almost entirely devoted to getting the couples mask, one of the most, complex side quests in this game.
It usually is a whole cycle, isn't it?
Yeah. And, I mean, it's not, like, crazy complicated, but it has a lot of steps to it that you just can't skip. There's no way to glitch around the stages of the couples mask quest.
Not even going in the cave early?
Nope, that doesn't work, because you can that'll get you cafe or whatever, but Anju will not show up in the last room unless you do all the other steps previously.
I see.
So you just can't cheat it. Alright, but first off, I want to show off more duping stuff. I just sold this bottled Po, but I still have it on my inventory. Right? What I did there actually is that I've shown this off before. You can pause and switch, and it'll update the last bottle that it thinks you were trying to sell from.
Mm-hmm.
But the first way I duped is that if you can actually pull out a different bottle fast enough without pausing the game, it'll update that bottle instead. So I actually sold the bottle Po, but then before he gave me the money, I tried to swing the other bottle on my C button, and he updated that with an empty bottle instead. But since it was already an empty bottle, I basically kept my Po, and nothing happened.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and that's just this is like the fastest way to get money. Is not the Po specifically, but like the Po, gold dust, and I think maybe the Chateau Romani sells for 200. I don't remember, but they sell for 200, and if you can dupe them, you get a lot of money. And that's how I got enough money for the All Knights mask, which is something you can get now on the third night, since I saved the old lady way back on night 1. So that finally paid off.
So, one quick way to make money, pawn shop owners hate it?
Yeah, exactly. And I got 500 to get the mask, and I guess stole it. I mean, I basically stole 500 more, and I'm going to use that to, like, saving up, because I'll need more money for the next few cycles that take place in the run. So I just got that money right now. And they're actually screwed up. I meant to deposit all 500. But I went a little bit too fast, and I deposited 400 instead. I don't know if it's faster to have backed out and then redo the whole thing. I don't know. But either way, I had to make 2 transactions.
Yeah.
So that was a dumb move on my part. But all right. So we're on the night of the 3rd day. It's actually pretty close to when the timer's going to start going down. So it's time to like finish up this cycle. And the last thing, there's a couple things I haven't done yet. I've gotten all the fairy rewards and stuff. But there are 2 temples that I haven't beaten, and one of them is Great Bay. If you remember, I did not beat the boss for this temple. I did not beat Gyorg.
Yeah, you did most of it.
Yeah, and that's because I want to show off a few things that I can only show off, or that it's the best to show off now. I'm going to need a couple fairies for Gyorg. Probably not for the reason you think. I know a lot of people like fairies for Gyorg because he's a pretty tough fight. But I farm fairies a little bit here, so I skipped that. Kind of boring, just me going in and out and capturing more fairies.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of fairies. I won't need all of them, but I got some extras just in case. And I was actually really careful about using my sword here because I don't want to hit that owl statue with my sword.
Yeah, that would kill off the wrong warp, wouldn't it?
Yeah, the where I can soar anywhere. If you hit any owl statue, then you can only soar to that owl statue. You'd have to go and hit the other ones then. So I don't want that.
No.
But now we're back in Great Bay. I won't have to go through the entire temple again. And that's one of the things I can show off now that I'm back here. And this is going to be the other use of Zora. I mentioned that I don't know if I actually specifically mentioned here, but I do need to use the Zora one more time, but it's not for swimming. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bomb in that little nook there, and then fall off the ledge in such a way so that the bomb actually pushes me underneath this ramp. And now I'm out of bounds.
Oh.
And that only works as a Zora, just like the size of his model and the way he interacts. But essentially it's a way to get out of bounds. And I'm going to do it twice, and the first time is just so I can store a Song of Time.
I see.
A bunch of uses I've talked about for that. I'll be using that coming up soon. And now I'm going to do it again. This is going to be a failed attempt, but I need to get back out of bounds. And the reason for that is because I mentioned that dungeons in this game, they're like sort of the collision for them is like all loaded at the same time. The textures of a room are only loaded, and some actors are only loaded one room at a time, but the collision is loaded everywhere, and the loading zone to the boss room is loaded at all times. So
Okay.
if you can get out of bounds from any room, you could potentially get into the boss room. But this room is nice in that if I recoil off a bomb from here, from the very first room, I can land in the boss room and skip the entire temple.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's really fantastic, and it makes this obviously incredibly fast. It makes it the fastest dungeon to beat, because in a typical speedrun, you don't need ice arrows for anything. You don't need anything in this dungeon. You just need to beat this temple, and because you can get to the boss room in the very first room, it's really short.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it still takes it. You need to collect all the Zora eggs, so getting the song to get into the temple, it takes the longest, but it's the shortest temple.
And the trick with the ramp, Link's collision is so small, like it would just force him out, wouldn't it?
It's something like that. It's just basically like the size of it. It doesn't interact in the exact same way.
Gotcha.
And we just saw the Gyorg cutscene. I showed that you can skip that.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't feel the need to. Alright, so I mentioned that I would not be turning Zora for this boss fight. And that's significant because you can only damage Gyorg when you're in the water. However, I do have a plan for that, and it's going to use all those fairies. So what I'm doing is I hover over Gyorg, I pull out my sword while I have infinite sword glitch, and if I pull out a fairy, I dive to the bottom of the tank, and when that's over, the hitbox from my infinite sword slashing actually hits Gyorg.
It's still active when you land.
Yeah, for like maybe 1 or 2 frames, you have there's enough time for it to actually hit Gyorg before it ends.
That's amazing.
Look at Gyorg here. He's just goofing around. But yeah, so you can only hurt him when you're in the water, and for one frame or 2 frames, I don't know exactly how many, but you have enough frames for that sword to hit him, and the sword has to be out, or at least that makes it a lot easier because it has such a big hitbox like that.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's what all the fairies are for, because they let you dive and it skips the water collision. So. Not the only way to damage him, but it's definitely the fastest way to damage him non-Zora, because the sword is really strong. You can actually like do some tricks like shoot an arrow or launch a bomb shoe, and if you're in the water when it hits Gyorg, it'll damage him. Those are tougher.
Oh wow.
And stuff I didn't even realize till somewhat recently. I couldn't get onto land fast enough to avoid being eaten there, so I just had to take that hit. Link just swims too slow as the non-Zora. But Gyorg has 10 health, essentially, and each of these slashes does 4 health, so this is going to be the hit that kills him. But I'm also going to do something else right now. So I pull out the sword to make sure it's going to hit properly, and then I bring up a text box to get the Song of Time box. I stored it like a little while ago, right?
Yeah.
And I dive, and this hit will kill Gyorg now. And Gyorg is dead. And I never had to turn Zora. But the text box for the Song of Time is still up. And I actually had to pull this up before I beat the boss, because after you beat the boss room actually gets like different properties, and this text box won't like pop up. It'll just say the song doesn't work or whatever.
Oh.
So I needed to do it before I killed him. And now when I get the mask, right when the animation starts, I'm going to click yes and then reset my console. And what that did is now I have Gyorg's mask in my inventory. The game actually gives you the mask right when the animation starts for picking up the mask. And that's all I really needed. So I reset the console, and I essentially skipped the ending cutscene for that dungeon.
Oh wow.
Yeah. You could do that for any dungeon, but if you do it for the first dungeon, you don't get the Oath to Order. You can't beat the game. And I also needed to beat Snowhead and Woodfall to get stuff that happens after you beat the dungeon. So I couldn't use it there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I needed to get like Gold Dust and the DQ Princess. And I couldn't do that earlier in the run. I couldn't beat Gyorg. I wanted to show off that glitch with Gyorg, but I couldn't do it early in the run because that resets everything. It would have reset all the fairies I had. It would have reset the progress for all my Sidequests. So I had to do it. I had to do it when I was done with the cycle. But it's a really neat glitch. It saves a decent amount of time, obviously, because you can skip. Some of those cutscenes are pretty long.
Oh yeah. Like having to watch the giant walk up and then walk back.
Exactly. It's a really I don't know. It's a really cool glitch, I think. And obviously it does like some setup as I just showed. But I did really want to show it off, and that was like the easiest way for me to do it. And now we're starting a new cycle, gonna get the couples mask. I send it to the night of the first day because that's when it'll be the fastest thing for me to do. I need to collect some supplies for this run. I got a red potion. I'm gonna get some bombs. So again, this is why I got my money beforehand.
Okay.
All right. And again, because one of the first steps is that we're gonna have to wait for Anju to show up around midnight. I do need to talk to her first. But anyways, turning it tonight is gonna be the fastest way, essentially, right away to do this. But before we really get going, I have to show off what was probably the most important glitch in the entire run. And it's gonna use this dog here. So I hope you're ready for this, because it's pretty good. So I'm gonna get Infinite Sword Glitch off the dog, and then hold shield while trying to pick it up. And you see here he doesn't pick it up for a while. I delayed it, and then when he hits the water, he teleports into my hands. And then when I throw him, he takes flight, and he drifts slowly down to the ground. Beautiful, beautiful dog.
Oh, that's amazing.
Alright, well, we're done. So, just that happens because it still sort of thinks he's in the water, because I pulled him from the water, teleported him into my hands.
Yeah.
It still thinks he's in the water, so he has the water speed, and he floats gently down, and it's amazing. Alright, so first thing we do need to do for Couples Mask, I need Cavi's Mask. I duped over it way back in the second episode, but you can always get masks back pretty easily. You just gotta redo the thing. So I just got... She just put Cavi's Mask right back into my inventory where there was a bottle before, so not an issue. And it's actually the fastest to turn it to night because the mayor's house is open from like 6 to 8, so I don't have to wait I don't have to wait at all to like...
Right, yeah.
To go in. And now that we have the mask, we talk to Anju, which you have until about 8:30 to do, I think, because that's when the inn closes. Talk to her, and she'll tell you to meet. And then this is the problem: we need to wait until midnight. I'm gonna skip all that because it's just waiting, and I didn't have anything to show off. And there's no way to speed it up.
Yeah.
In Majora's Mask 3D, they fixed it. You can go to any time you wanted, just by playing the song at double time. You don't have that here.
Right. Yeah.
During the daytime, you could talk to Grandma and move it like 2 hours at a time. Kind of slow, but it lets you get a little bit of precision. Here is just waiting. And waiting sucks.
Yes, it does.
So I just skip past it. And now we can continue on with the quest. And, you have to deliver this letter first. And this is sort of like the early key moments of the Couples Mask. If you don't talk to Anju with Cavi's Mask and get the letter... then she won't accept the pendant later. So if you manage to find the pendant, like if you got the pendant, by cheating or somehow, you couldn't show it to her unless you had talked to her beforehand, like with the Cavi's Mask and at midnight. You just can't show it to her. The prompt never pops up.
Oh wow.
So that's like one of the things you can't cheat past. And right there, got the Brayman mask back. The other mask I duped over. Again, easiest mask to get. Just talk. And now, since I've delivered the letter, I'm going to move to the night of the second day. I skipped past a bunch, just 2 song double times. Unimportant. Now we can go in here and talk to Cavi. I have to do a little trick where I shove the camera underneath the ground and then target Cavi through the ground. And I can just talk to him from down there. If you bring up the camera at the end of a roll, it's like lower. It's like where his head is. And that actually puts the camera like through the ground.
Oh, wow.
You can target him from down there. It's actually not particularly useful. I mean, it saves however many seconds it takes to
walk up the stairs.
Yeah. I will say that I think there's something about this cutscene that like changes Cavi with the mask, because you know how he takes it off for a second to show his face.
Yeah.
I think it does some weird programming to change his model, the whole like his global model. And I'll explain why I think that later. But I'll say that something about that cutscene I think changes the way his model is with that mask, I think. But we'll get back to that. Now that I've talked to Cavi and I've got the pendant, I want to finish up. I need to show the pendant to Anju and stuff. But I also need to talk to, or I want to talk to, the curiosity shop guy who's in Caffey's place, right?
Yeah.
He's supposed to tell you where he is. But I just showed that you can't get there during the daytime, normally. You're supposed to go and talk to him at night, I believe. Or just later in the day. However, his model is always in there, so if I squeeze through the geometry and back into the loading zone of this place, he's just here. And I did that by getting blasted from a bomb. And like I said, he's always here on the third day, no matter the time, even if you haven't done any other parts of the quest. So if you've done nothing, if you never talked to Caffey or Anju or anything, if you cheated your way in here, he would be here.
Interesting.
On the third day, unless you've saved the old lady. Then he won't spawn there. So it's interesting sort of set of triggers for that. I don't know exactly why they programmed it that way, but he's always in there. The thing that prevents you from actually talking to him is that the door is just locked.
Yeah.
So normally you're not supposed to ever talk to him, but again, you just glitch in. And again, the speed from the bomb gave you enough. The speed from the bomb blasting gave you enough speed to squeeze through the geometry. You could also Zora link up to the top, like above the world, and sort of like jump in there, because there's like a wall. I showed it off like in a bonus section, but there's like a ledge that you're not ever supposed to be on, and you can navigate your way into the loading zone from up there.
Oh.
But now we have to show the pendant. I have to show it. Day of the third day. There's probably other times, but since I could just Song of Double Time here, I could show it to her right now. And I can't. You have to do it during the day because at night in story she goes to Lon Lon Ranch. So her model's not in the inn anywhere.
Yeah. I
don't think it actually does show up at the ranch, but I'm actually not too certain on that. But even if it does, you can't show her the pendant. So I have to give it to her right now. I don't know if you could do it during the night of the second day. Maybe you can. I just don't remember where her model is all the time.
Yeah, she's kind of all over the place.
Yeah. But showing her the pendant is what gets her into the room where the couple's mask, where you get it.
Oh yeah, okay.
So now that she's there, that's half of the triggers we need to get the couple's mask, basically. Now we need Caffey there. But before that, I do have one other thing. I have the letter to Mama. There's 2 uses for that. One is to show it to the postman to get the postman's hat. You show it to him here, and it'll take him an hour to deliver the letter, and then he'll wait by an exit in, East Clocktown? He'll wait there until an hour before the moon crashes. So we have plenty of time. And the other use is that you get the Chateau Romani from Mama, but we don't... I mean, it gets you a bottle, but we have full bottles now because I cheated.
Yeah.
And we don't really need Chateau Romani. Obviously it's a fun thing to have, but we don't need it. And my goal here is to get all the masks too, so I need to just give it to the postman. But now that we've done that, last part of Couple's Mask is, getting into Sakon's hideout. This is the part I guess people mostly remember, and again, you can't just do this to get the Couple's Mask, unfortunately.
Right.
I think a lot of people are aware about how infamous Sakon's hideout is. Sakon.
For a specific reason, I think.
Yeah, like I just got caught, but it's no big deal because I could just roll right in. That rock is a really badly placed rock, and you can get squeezed out of bounds pretty easily by it. So we're in here, and Sakon didn't have to open the door. I could have potentially done this on the day of the third day. Caffey is in here on the third day all the time, unless you've saved the bomb lady. So you can just glitch in here at any time during the third day, and you can do this. But once you finish, it sets it to the night of the third day, and almost no matter what, and no matter how much time you've had left, it sets it to like a specific time, and then I wouldn't be able to deliver the pendant. So I had to do some stuff before I came here.
Okay, yeah.
In any case, we just need to finish this. There's a string of puzzles and a combat, I guess, that you need to do. However, a lot about this room isn't very well programmed. I will go into a big issue later, but I will show off that Well, there's a really easy way to do all these trials here. So normally these are about like 6 rooms or whatever to do. Puzzle rooms with Caffey, and then you fight a few things as Link. However, if you just hover up high enough and hop onto this conveyor belt, well, you could just go straight to the end here. And we hit the switch, and that's the only switch you need to hit. You don't need to hit Caffey's switch. You just need to hit Link's switch, and that ends this thing. And we got the Sun Mask back. Hooray.
Oh.
So, pretty easy trials. Sakon didn't really do a good job there, I think.
Yeah, I would have figured he would have programmed it to require both switches to be held down.
No, just the one. Although there was a weird quirk where Link got teleported to Caffey's switch. It's a bit weird.
That Sakon's a bad programmer.
Yeah. All right, now we're at the point where the timer pops up. If I don't know if people knew about that shortcut, but if you jump into the water there, you can go straight to the swamp here.
Mm-hmm.
And we're here to... I got a red potion earlier, and we're gonna deliver that because I never got the picked up box from the witches, and we're here to like finally collect on that. And so I needed to buy a red potion. I could show it to her. The fun thing is, she says like it smells like her sister. I forget which one. She says like she can recognize the smell, but I didn't get it from her. But she says that for any red potion you show her. I don't know if you'll see it, but anyway, you could use any red potion. You can also use blue potion. She'll accept it just fine. She won't take fairies or anything.
She's so far gone, she'll take any potion.
Yeah. It doesn't matter the color. But, oh, so I'm doing all this because you can't get the couple's mask until about an hour and 30 minutes before the moon crashes. Like, Caffey doesn't show up until then. So I have time to waste.
Oh, yeah.
And I have stuff to do during that time, so might as well do it. So, yeah, I did that to... I'm gonna get the pictograph box, because you have to show her the red potion. You have to give her a red potion, and then she'll pop up back over here, right in the... I forget what this thing is called. The cabin? I don't know. And, so, I don't know if you remember, but typically when you get the pictograph box, right after that, you go on, like, a tour.
Yeah.
Of Woodfall. And that's just, like, scripted to happen. However, if I stand far enough back, after I get the picta box, I can just leave right out the front door.
Oh.
And the tour doesn't happen. So we just skip that. I don't know how precise that is, but basically, because you can target so far away, you can talk to her next to the door, and then right when the text box is over, you can just open the door and leave. You don't have to do the tour. And now, a few more things to do in the Deku Swamp. I have a Deku Princess that, well, I need to drop off. I kept her over from the last cycle, so
yeah.
Even though I have the Deku Princess, the swamp is still poisoned. Typically not supposed to happen. But you can still deliver her. I will show off that Zora glitchy move that I showed off last episode. You can use it to skip past these scrubs. Like, you just glitch forward when you hold certain buttons, and it'll glitch past their hitboxes. I mean, it's a little faster than talking to them if you can pull it off fast enough. Not that big a deal, though. And yeah, you can just go ahead and drop the Deku Princess. And this... It's not like contingent on beating the temple, it's just whether or not you have her. And you're not really supposed to have her unless you've beaten the temple. Something is going to come up that it's going to be a little weird to explain, but you know how buttons are dimmed and undimmed sometimes?
Yeah.
What I'm going to do is dive, put on the Zora mask, try to land on the ground, and then take off the Zora mask, and I'm in a weird state where I'm still Zora, but it thinks I'm a human, and I can't move, and C buttons are locked in their dim and undim state, and because of that, I can actually put Fierce Deities on the C button that's not dimmed, and then put it on.
Oh.
So it happened kind of quickly, but it's a weird issue. Like, see how bombs are dimmed and the bottle and mask isn't?
Yeah, yeah.
What I did there is I did a sequence of events that sort of locked their dimness, their use, and so I was able to switch out which item was on there and use items I'm not typically supposed to be able to use, like the Fierce Deity mask.
Okay, that
So really weird.
Yeah.
That'll actually become relevant in the next episode. But for now, I wanted to show off that, well, that's one way to become Fierce Deity. Wherever you, well, not wherever, I needed water for it, but you could become Fierce Deity outside of boss rooms. And here what I'm doing, I'm going to use this torch to get out of bounds. And right now, I'm in the moat that's outside of Deku Palace, but the water's not loaded. So I can just, like, this is where the poison water's supposed to be.
Oh,
and I'm heading towards where the Deku Butler is. It's not quite loaded right, but it's right there. I can hop up here and then walk into the loading zone. It's a fun way to get in here. I can skip dealing with the poison water, and there's an Octorok that's there because of the poison water. It's not. I didn't have to do that to get past it. I could just killed it.
Right.
But it's definitely a funny way to do it. It actually probably took a little bit longer than it would have been just to kill the Octorok, but not a big deal. And we're here for the last. Well, it's not the last mask, but one of the masks I still don't have, the pig mask. And again, might as well do it while I have time to spare. I'm still waiting on Caffey. He's not going to be in the room yet, so I might as well do this. I don't particularly like this side quest minigame, whatever. It's a bit long.
Yeah, it's pretty lengthy.
Yeah, and if you fall down at any point, it resets the whole thing. So that's not great. And there's no real tricks to it. You just have to like do it. You can't like get ahead of him. He's like banded to you. Not that it would do anything anyways. You still have to. It's really long. There's just like, I don't think there's like a shortcut to the end from the beginning. Like, it doesn't wrap around to itself where you could potentially glitch to another area. It's like one long tunnel. So no real tricks to it, unfortunately. You just have to do it. And I've never memorized the pathway, so I'm a bit sloppy at it. I just don't like this. I don't particularly like it, at least in a glitching capacity. I don't know how a casual player would feel about it. I don't know how you feel about it.
I'm not a big fan of this part, no.
Alright, well, I don't have quite enough time to finish this and do all the things I need to do. It actually cuts pretty close. If I was like really fast, I might have been able to do it. But just to be safe, I play the Song of Inverse Time or whatever to slow down time a bit. And that should give us enough time to... Totally forgot that rock was there. That should give us enough time to do everything that we need to do. It's still just more running along. Yeah, see, I can't even think of anything to say. It's just like, it's pretty self-explanatory, right? Like, I'm just rolling. It's faster to roll, so I'm doing that.
Yeah, it's just a race.
Yeah, well, it's not even a race, right? I guess it's like,
yeah.
You have to do it somewhat fast enough, I guess. But yeah, there's just no real tricks to it. If I memorized it, it probably would have done better. But now we're at the end. And we're getting pretty close to when Caffey shows up. So that's pretty good. And so right after this, I'm going to head back to Clocktown. See, I actually did have somewhat of a narrow range, because I wanted to get to Clocktown where I didn't have to wait for Caffey, but where I could still get the postman's hat. Because I said the postman will stay there until an hour before the moon crashes. Caffey shows up an hour and a half before the moon crashes, so I have like a 30-minute window where I wanted to show up. Ideally. But we hit it okay. Like I didn't really specifically plan out when I slowed down time. I just kind of winged it there.
Yeah, so you were cutting it a little close.
That's fine. Like I said, Caffey still isn't there. We still have a few seconds to get in there.
Yeah.
So go here, talk to him. See, he's just here waiting patiently for... I mean, he's cutting it pretty close, too. I mean, he's only got an hour to get out of the country. But, you know, Godspeed, dude. And we could just walk right into the inn. And I got here a little bit early, but it actually lets us see Caffey actually walking right in.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And so we finally have both of them in here, and that's what triggers the couples mask happening. Very nice cutscene. I actually do like this cutscene. However, I have more important stuff to show off than this cutscene, right? So we'll show off. I have Caffey's mask on right now in the Sakon's hideout. Can you tell?
Yeah.
Okay, that's important because when it switches to Caffey, I can actually switch that mask to a different mask, like the Fierce Deity's mask. And when it switches back to Link, he thinks he's supposed to be wearing it, so he puts it on. I think this one's actually pretty well known too.
Yeah. I've done this myself.
Yeah. And this is actually what I was talking about before. Cavi has the Keaton mask on right now. That's because I didn't talk to him in the hideout before. I think that's why he still has it on there.
Oh.
So, weird little thing. But once you finish, it lets you be Fierce Deity outside of the hideout and outside of boss rooms. So, 2 different ways to become Fierce Deity with cheats. Or not, I guess not cheats, with glitches. And now we have the couples mask. And that's, I think, the last mask. Should be all of them. And that's basically the end of the episode. Covered mostly what I wanted. The next episode we'll go over... Well, the next episode is the finale. We'll be finishing off Stone Tower, and we'll be fighting Majora.
Oh, wow.
So look forward to that. But until then, I have one last thing that I need to do. And it has to do with Deku Palace. Fast forward a little bit because we've seen getting here. But I have one last thing to do here, and it's because there's one thing in my inventory that's still missing. That's just missing. I need to get it. But I need some setup. So what I'm going to do here is... I failed the first attempt, but I'm going to super slide, and it's going to push me through the wall behind me. So right now I'm out of bounds. And I actually had infinite sword glitch so that I didn't go flying off the ledge. It prevented me from falling off the ledge. So I'm out of bounds, and I do this to store a Song of Time.
Okay. Gosh, I can't remember what item it is.
Yeah. You gotta think real hard. But now, we have to go into Deku Palace, and I'll be using that Song of Time for something pretty important. But yeah, we got one last thing to do here, one last dark task, I guess. Just let it be known that I take no pleasure in what's about to happen. I don't get anything from what I'm about to do. So I need to bring this up, and then I have one last item in here to get. And that would be the Deku Princess. The Deku Princess is mine, Deku King. Take it from right underneath your nose, or whatever your nose equivalent is. And you can do nothing but sit and watch as I escape through time itself.
Alas, a poor, helpless king with no princess.
Find me, Deku King. Find me and award me a Swampland Duchy, and just maybe I'll free her. But until then, she is coming with me as my captive / valued companion. We will travel together, just me and my good pal, who is also my prisoner. She's my BFF, my best friend hostage forever.
It's a cruel world.